Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to try to finish up the front section of the gatehouse. So let's build. Jumping right into it, as you can see, I've got the bases of the gatehouse towers already built and in place, and the archway has been built and in place. There was a lot of trials and errors in that and back and forth. I tore it down probably 3 or 4 times trying to get the arch just the way that I wanted it to. As you can see right there above the archway, there's a little bit of a tribute to the King's Castle with the crossed lances and the classic lion shield, and then it's accompanied by the new lion shield with the crossed keys. I also wanted to incorporate the little lion statuette thing that Lego has, and then actually incorporate classic knight statues in the front of the castle as well, with some, updated, versions of the sconces and whatnot. And I will say that building this, I've realized really quick that I did not fully do enough planning for this, and I did hours and hours of planning on this castle, especially the gatehouse. So, I've been kind of back and forth with quite a few different trials. I built the towers twice, as you can see over in the left there. The original tower that I actually posted up in pictures to my Instagram a few weeks back as, just like a test run. And it's extremely tedious building something this scale and trying to incorporate as much detail as possible. Staying historically accurate, using the arrow loops and having them staggered back and forth across the tower, and then having hallways that run inside the walls there that, you can jump up with a bow and whatnot. But literally this entire thing has literally been piece by piece. I literally put a piece in and I step back and I look at it and then I think, okay, what's the next piece? What's the next color? What's the next texture? So I was kind of back and forth. As you can see, during my build process, I stop and think for a few minutes, and I'll disappear every now and again to go find some random parts that I don't have laid out right in front of me. So far, my count on the gatehouse is roughly about 7,000 pieces in total. And this is just the first section of the gatehouse. There's more to it, but obviously I've got to build it in sections because I do plan to take this castle on the road and go to shows. So I do have to build it to where I can break it down. So, overall it's kind of tricky because you're building the front section and then, the back is just an empty shell, and then you got to build the next section of walls, and, so that's a whole nother project in itself. Here you can see where I've just taken the crenellations off of the top of the original tower and just placed them, to see how everything lays out. And the way that I did these crenellations on here was very, very tedious. Lots and lots and lots of parts, little tiny parts. As you can see right there, I'm using the little swivel plate, the little hinge piece, and each one of those hinges is actually holding the top of those walls together. There is other hinges as you can see going down through, but I did manage to keep a run of the dark bluish gray full brick hinges out of it, and it's still fairly strong because the inside walls of the towers are actually built into that center wall that houses the doors and the archway. So it's very solid, as you can see all the way looking down. That dark bluish gray brick from the bottom of the floor there where the drawbridge comes in all the way down to the base plate is just solid brick, just stair stacked back and forth. It's very, very strong at the base. It's kind of weak at the top of the crenellations, but we do jump in. You will see in this video where I do place some 2x16 plates across the backside of the tower, kind of conjoining the edge of the tower. That way that far top corner on the outside edges is supported somewhat. I do plan to add a little bit more stabilization to that once once I get into the next section to kind of see where we're at here. And as you can see, I just keep measuring and I'm back and forth, and I'm about ready to put these 2x16 plates in there to have that extra support. There's one there, and there's a second one. Looking for some parts. And we're back. Trying to finish again those crenellations. They're just extremely, extremely tedious. One little piece at a time, all the way around. And so everyone knows, these towers are actually part of a, excuse me, they are part of a 20-sided tower if you did a full round. What you see here on the Gatehouse is actually 11 sides. And I had to break up that 11th side so that I had a full 4 and a full 4, so I could break up the crenellations properly so that everything looked consistent and flowed well around the castle. As you can see here, I'm actually individually building all the separate crenellations and placing them. Lots of individual parts. The way that they're structured, that you can't just build the crenellation with the arrow loop. You cannot build that as it sits and then place it. The way that it's set up is you have to build it piece by piece, and then you can put the cap on top. So that was kind of tedious. So every crenellation has got I want to say 15 parts, and that's from the archway above. So there's quite a few pieces in there. And then we're going to jump into building the doors, because we got to get those doors in there. So on the doors, I wanted it to feel like it was like a heavy-duty door made out of long, hard, heavy timbers, jointed together with steel. So I used the 1x1 slope pyramids and the 1x1 rounds to create the doorknobs. And then we jump into the drawbridge. I'm just kind of laying out some basic concept here. The 1x4 plates with the studs on them in there are meant for horse attachment. You'd be able to attach horses to the drawbridge as it's coming down. And I really like the dark brown against the reddish brown. It's such a great effect. It looks nice. And here we're gonna go ahead and place the drawbridge. And I use the snot technique just to pull it in and out easily. I use some old-fashioned hinges from the late 80s, early 90s. So they're actually pretty strong in themselves. But overall, I think it came out pretty well. As you can see in there, I've already placed the cobblestone type stone pathway that's going to run through the gatehouse, just above the wooden planks of the drawbridge. And you'll have to excuse my mess. I've still got random parts everywhere at the moment because we're building away. And then we jump in and we see some of the water that's coming down around the towers, which I love the effect of it. It just glistens in the light. The doors look amazing on there. We got the classic shield, we got the statues, we got the new shield. We got the dedication to the King's Mountain, or the King's Castle. And there you have it. There's the front of the gatehouse, minus a few parts. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future content.